Hello, everyone. This is episode one of Call of the Herd. With me here today, well, hopefully for every episode, is Curran. Curran, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Romario. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Pretty excited to start this new project. Uh, I'm hesitant to call it a podcast because I really kind of want to make it like kind of want to make more YouTube type of content, but we'll probably release this in podcast form too. But I'll call it a podcast for the time being. But yeah, pretty excited. Like, no, we're trying to find a space for us to talk about Premodern. And some as you may know, well, Current also has been in my other project that I have with Mike and Jared, the Legacy Small Talk, and always bugging them every time I mention podcast. I mean, Premodern. So I was like, and no, reached out to Current. Current was like excited to talk about Premodern too. He's for the last 6 months has become like a Portland end boss at the Premodern monthlies there. So we're like, yeah, let's do this. And we love chatting about Magic. We love talking about formats that we both enjoy playing. So yeah. Um,
Yeah.
how do you feel about this?
Uh yeah, so far so good, I guess. I guess we should really start by talking doing a little bit of an intro. I'll go first just to kind of kick it off. My name is Curran. I've been playing Magic since 2010. I got into Legacy in 2012 roughly, and specialized in Legacy Elves when I really found that was my deck to play. And I played that for many, 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 many years. In recent years, I learned Cradle, and then I got into Premodern. Like pretty much last year, I started into the format, and people were like, "Oh, come play Elves," because they know me in the Portland area as the Elves guy, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, give me a second. Hold on. Let me just look at other decks. The first monthly I played here, I top forward with Dr. Teeth, just because I wanted to try something very different.
Like Blue Black
Uh,
Dog.
yeah, Blue Black Tog.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was sick. It was a great run. But I did eventually try the Elves deck, and it was almost like coming home. Like it felt like I was doing the symbiote Multani's Acolyte thing. I was doing the Quirion Ranger Llanowar Elves thing, having a great time, and figuring out survival lines is hard. And
Oh yeah.
so I've been playing Premodern for a little over a year, definitely. And this year has been really good for me at the monthlies. I've been pretty consistently able to make the top cut and everything. So just playing Elves, which I think might be the best deck in Premodern. I'll toss it over to Romario.
Well,
Go ahead, Romario.
first hot take. Like, no, Elves is the best deck in the format.
Yeah, Elves is the best deck in the format. Hot take.
Okay. Okay. All right. I'm not gonna argue with that. Well, so I've been playing Magic since the formats in pre-modern were standard. So like I'm a lot older, so yeah, I started playing like no, I actually don't know exactly when. It was like around like 95, 96, I think. Uh whenever Chronicles was in standard, Fallen Empires, I think. But yeah, I played for the basically from the time that like no pre-modern was legal, and then well, the same stats. I stopped playing at the end of like beginning of 2000, I think. So I got the whole era of pre-modern except for the IPA section of the format. Sorry about that. Like I keep forgetting that Discord makes noise even after you minimize it. But yeah. So I used to joke about like after I got into Legacy, I used to joke about with my friends that like, man, if I could play standard from Urza Saga until Masks block, I'm sorry, from Tempest to Masks block for forever, I'll be super happy. Like if we could just play that format. And then yeah, a few years later, one of the guys at one of the shops I used to go play Legacy, they showed me this new format that was called Premodern. I think it was like around, if I want to say 2017, maybe. And they were like, no, yeah, thinking about building some decks and like maybe host some events here. That was around that time when like, Corin, I don't know if you remember when formats like, I think it was Tiny Leaders was one of the
Yeah, I was
formats.
about to say, was this Tiny Leader still have
Frontier
like
was the other format that people Frontier ended up being
mhm.
like Pioneer, right? I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like, eventually they settled on Pioneer, but yeah, they were, like, in a
Play
total, like, frenzy of new formats,
Right.
like
And so Premodern felt kind of like that for me at that time. I was like, oh, maybe it's just another format. Because I remember I built a Tiny Leaders deck just because we used to play between rounds of like no PTQs or whatever. Uh, but yeah, for some reason we never talked about Premodern anymore. And then it wasn't until the pandemic when I don't know how I came across some like YouTube videos of people like had webcam like uh games that people recorded, and then there was a couple of other, it might have been just one channel that had like no MTGO matches that they recorded, but all this other content was still like not great, right? It was just stuff that people were doing like no, but it was cool because it got me into like no thinking about the format. And then I found out about the webcam uh league that they do monthly. I actually played in one of them. I ended up losing in the semifinals, I think. Did not play those anymore, but for various reasons. But yeah, it got me to like start thinking about decks and like doing a bunch of research on deck lists and stuff. And then again, it was during the pandemic, so we all had a lot of free time to play Magic and think about Magic. So yeah, that's when I really got like into pre-modern. It was really around that time. So I knew about the format years ago, but it just never, there was no pre-modern happening here in Richmond. There was no as far as I know, there was no MTGO league or anything. But yeah, so since like about 2022, I'm sorry, 2023, that's when I started like, really investing more. Um, I already had most of the, I would say called the high dollar cards, like in the format just from playing Legacy. So it wasn't too hard for me to just, get into buy into the other decks. And ever since then, not like you, like, no, I didn't really have like an archetype that people associated me with the deck, but I started with Mud because it was a deck that I really like to play in Legacy. Metal Worker has long not been very playable in that format, so I was like, oh, cool, there's a format that I can play Metal Worker. So that was a deck that I really, all right, here's a pun. Uh, I tinkered a lot with that deck for a while, and
oh,
yeah, so right,
right
so
on.
Mud was like it was my thing for a while. Now I just kind of play whatever. Yeah, format's really fun. And then I found out about the community pre-modern league, which is the Magic Online leagues that we can play on Magic Online. They're community run events. I actually have a video on my channel explaining how to join and how to play. It is not very intuitive, in my opinion. It's not like just when you open Magic Online and you find a format and click on the league. There's a little bit more. You have to find your matches on the Discord channel. But yeah, that's about 90% of the pre-modern that I play nowadays. Unlike you, I'm not as lucky. We don't have a larger local events. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it was interesting because like pre-modern around here, a lot of legacy players ended up kind of funneling into it, and it was kind of slow at first because the people who really got into pre-modern early were very like come play pre-modern. You gotta come play pre-modern. You gotta come check it out. And it almost felt like, oh geez, man, I don't know. It just seems so silly and weird. And then yeah, no, really sit down and give it a chance, and then you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm getting the vibes. I understand like why people are so very excited about this format." And we have a couple people around here who just have absolute libraries of pre-modern decks. Like they will bring 30-ish decks on them at a
Oh, jeez.
time just to be like, "Hey, I've got this, and this. What do you want to try? What do you want to like?" They're just like come in, come check it out, come see what we have to offer, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Uh, well, we yeah, we don't really have that going on here in Richmond. Like we try to do it. It One of the players here in Richmond organized, well, with the help of an LGS, we organized like an event about 2 years ago, I think.
mhm.
That we had about 20 something people I think showed up. I think it was close to 30. And it was sort of the same deal too. Like no, people brought extra decks and we allowed playtest cards. But I think pretty much everyone just brought their cards. I think there are very few people like using proxies, right? Everyone brought their their decks, and then the people that wanted to try that were from other formats, then we had decks for them to try. So we had a good turnout, but that was the only one. That was the only event that we had. Then we tried to do uh, like a local casual event once a month, and then that's still going, but it's definitely like okay-ish. But it could be like also a product of like just having a saturation of events going on. So it's not. I don't think it's really the format. Like you said, a lot of the players here in Richmond also are people that used to play Legacy, and then also wanted to try Premodern too. And we actually have enough Legacy for us to play, so it's not. It just end up being like this. The schedule gets a little crowded. Um, but
Mhm.
what's the turnouts usually for the events in Portland?
Yeah, so we have a monthly organized by the Portland Premodern. I forget the whole name, but it's PM. They I don't know. The branding has always been a little fun. But they organize the event, and it's a we usually get nowadays between like 20 and 28 players, I think, something like that. So 5 rounds cut to top 8. um and yeah, it's an incredible turnout. That It's very community supported, so your top 8 prizes are like altered tokens that are like relevant to the format. Like today, like 5th through 8th, we're getting a bear token that said PM top 8, PM, the number of tournament it was today. I don't even know. This was PMPM number 28. Yeah. 28 was the one
So the
today.
28th monthly.
Yeah, the 28th monthly that PM has run.
Uh huh.
And like alongside that, there were like 4 academy rectors, gold bordered academy rectors
Hmm.
for those. And then 3rd and 4th are getting like 2 goblin tokens and 2 foil wall of blossoms signed by Heather Hudson.
Oh, sweet.
And then the second place is getting a place set of Japanese lightning bolts from they're foreign black border,
Okay.
and a sheep token from Unhinged that's also altered. And then the winner is getting a foil wall of blossoms as well, a torment pack, and a dragon token, a 5/5 dragon token as the
Wow.
winner token. So, and then there's just a pile of stamped terminates with the date of today's PMPM on it that are just door promos
Hmm.
for all the players.
Sweet.
And there were also charity raffles today for altered pyroblast or altered red blast, altered blue blast, and altered show and tells. It was like $1 per ticket, and it's all going to a good cause. It's
Hmm.
just so the vibes are insane. It's just such a good time, and it's all at a brewery,
Hmm.
like bar setting where you can just order a beer, get some pizza, get a sandwich, and it is like the timers run on somebody's cell phone, and there are like multiple judges in the room that are playing, but like
Right.
aren't on staff necessarily. And yeah, it's very laid back. And then Andrew is there, heavy play on YouTube, recording all the feature matches that he
Hmm.
puts up on his YouTube channel. So yeah.
I Okay. So there's a lot there that I liked it. One, I need to try to do the same thing here. Uh, Two, I people that know me, I'm kind of like a foil hater, but I would love to get me. I love the foils from that era of Magic. So the foil wall of blossoms, I was like, wow, yeah, I would love to
Yeah,
get some of those.
one of my first place prizes, and I wish I had it on me at this moment in time, is a playset of foil treetop villages.
Oh, that's right. I remember those
Yeah,
are from
yeah, I
Urza's.
posted a picture of them.
Yeah, OG ones.
Urza's
Hammer,
uh the hammer one, the
which
one
is
with the
it's embarrassing.
hammer.
We should know this one.
Oh my god,
I was gonna
it's
say
Destiny.
Legacy.
Destiny, is it Destiny?
It should be. Hold on. I'm embarrassed now. We don't know this one. We should know this one. I get
Oh
Destiny and
god.
Legacy confused. I know Saga off the top of my head, but for some reason Destiny and um, Legacy I get confused. But hold on, it is Legacy. I think
It's
I think I
Legacy?
did say
Damn.
that. Yes, Legacy. Destiny is the bigger, and then Saga is the
Alright.
hears. I mean,
It's the first episode and I'm
it's okay for you
fired.
not to know. I was at the pre-release, so I should know this one. Uh, but yes, it's pretty cool. Like, get those foils from OG foils.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, the OG foils, it's real nice, so.
some of my favorite ones are like artifacts from that era. Like anything
Oh,
that's
yeah.
foil,
One
they
of
look so
one of the
beautiful.
other prizes I won was a foil powder keg, which I ended up, trading
For
for,
real?
like yeah, yeah, a foil
No,
powder
that's the
keg.
one I was gonna say that I really like it because I remember
Oh, yeah.
our mutual friend Mike. He used to play a powder keg in the sideboard of Death Shadowing Legacy. And Mike, he likes everything foil, and he bought an OG foil powder keg, and I saw it. I was like, wow, this looks beautiful. Yeah, that was
Yeah, I ended up trading that for a decent chunk. It was a lot higher in price than I thought it was,
oh yeah,
so
they're
that
they're
was nice.
hmm yeah. There's a reason why I don't own them. It's because yeah, they're kind of pricey. Yeah, another thing I was gonna say, I mentioned to you. I don't know if you ever got to. Well, I'm sorry. What was the gentleman's name from Heavy Play? Uh,
Andrew.
Andrew. I think I told you a few times. I don't know if you ever told him, but like, yeah, I really like the way he does the videos. I think they're uh as far as you understand, it's just a one man operation there. Like,
Oh yeah, no, one man army, he does it all. He does the recording, he does the setup, he does the commentary, he does like the deck, like he collects all the deck list
mhm.
images that he needs from people. He is a hard worker at putting his content out there and he's doing a great job. Like he's doing a fantastic job. So
Yeah, doing the commentary by yourself, it seems
mm.
difficult if it's not something that you're really passionate about, right? Like, so
Yeah, but
yeah.
Andrew is like, yeah, definitely one of the most passionate people in the community in the format. I mean, we have so many passionate pre-modern heads out here.
Hmm.
It's crazy. Like we have the monthlies and we also have weekly meetups, like multiple weekly meetups that happen.
Oh,
I unfortunately don't go to those as often as I should because unfortunately I just have some other things going on in my
right.
life, but I really love getting the opportunity to get out there and game with those guys on the weeks, and the monthlies are just vibes. So
Hmm. Oh,
yeah,
cool. So you mentioned Elves, and you think Elves is one of the well, you said it's the best deck in the format. Uh,
yeah. I may have a again, it might be biased, but
just a tiny bit.
I keep kind of like just doing very well with the deck, and it's hard for me not to believe like
Hmm.
The the deck just I think the craziest thing that it does is just leverage Tangle Wire insanely well. Like just being able to jam up your opponents for turns at a time and essentially time lock them while you get to continue to play the game, I think is probably one of the hugest elements in why it's broken. But also like the survival chains are very good and the like rock hard advantage from Wirewood Symbiote and Multani's Acolyte is also just a fantastic fallback plan, something
Hmm.
I'm very used to. And yeah, I don't know. I keep doing well with the deck and I think it's very good. So
Okay.
yeah.
So currently, is anything special or like different from your list that you would see from the other lists?
Um, no, I kinda did hop off like Rashadenport slash Wasteland for this last tournament, and I regretted it because I ended up losing the semifinals to Blue White Control, and I realized in the match that the thing that was stopping me from like being able to proceed was Mishra's factory,
Hmm.
like just being able to either be a 2-2 or a 3-3, or sometimes even a 4-4 if there are multiple factors in play to like pump the same one. Made it really hard to like continually put pressure on life total over time. Like I can go through all the counter spells and all the removal in the world, but the factories and the decrees of justice are really the biggest problems in that deck for elves, I think. So
Really? Not the wrath effects, not the.
I mean, those cards aren't great. Like we
Mhm.
don't want to see them, but they are so beatable. Like it. playing against control, something you have to learn is that they're always going to have something and you need to play through it eventually and you need
Hmm.
to make them use it. So you can set like good looking boards that are wrathable and completely like justifiable to wrath, but also be sandbagging some stuff because you know the wrath is coming, and then you just like replay out some stuff and like move forward. It's really like soldiers being able to trade off, and like the mishras just being able to survive combat with any of the creatures is insane. So having wasteland to just take mishras right off the table, now we're moving again, now we're chipping away at the life total
Hmm.
effectively. So
It's the uh old what's the term I'm looking here? It's usually for aggro decks, and I don't consider elves to be an aggro deck, but is that balance right? Like, do you overextend, or you
yeah,
have to
or
keep
do
a
you like play somewhat conservatively,
right?
like,
If
but
you
still threateningly?
correct, I mean, if you have a survive and play, it's a lot easier to do that, right? Or are you playing Genesis in your list?
No, zero
Okay, because
Genesis.
I love to do that with Genesis and survival. Then I'm like, I don't fear
I play one
uh
squeak.
to what?
I play one squeak.
That's your survival target.
That's my Genesis,
That's
isn't
your
it?
Genesis. Okay. Because I think the last few times I played Elves, like there was one league that I played, I didn't have Genesis, and I really missed it because I got paired against some decks to play Wrath of God, right? Because it's such a
Yeah,
crutch, right? Like, no, if they don't have a way to exile your graveyard, Genesis is just like, I don't care how many times you wrath my board, like I'm always gonna like, we can go on
that's
forever
fair.
here. Uh, but of course, every time you put a card in the deck, there is a deck building cost, right? It's not free to just jam another
No,
card in the deck.
yeah, and
Uh,
it's like you're risking top decking it. You're like at a
you're
bad
right,
time, as yeah,
and it's kind of hard
it,
for yeah. You know you can just. I mean, it is a 4/4 for 5 mana, which in pre-modern terms is not nothing, right? Like there's a lot of times that a 4/4 for 5 mana can be very good in this format. But that's usually my crutch. Like, no, when I'm playing against Wrath of God decks, is just like I'll search up a Genesis and go from there. And you can just keep playing creatures, and they sweep it. They sweep it. You just start rebind them.
yeah.
But uh, so you cut the Rashad imports and the wastelands. Uh,
Well, yeah, it's like either or usually in these lists. Like some
mhm,
lists play Rashad and some play Wasteland. And I just went full green sources, full playset of Priest of Titania
mhm.
this last event, just to kind of like, I don't know. I don't love starting opening those hands that have Cradle and colorless source in it and being sad that that colorless source wasn't a forest, I
Right, right,
guess.
yeah.
And I was trying to, yeah, see if I could get away without it. And then I ran into the matchup where Wasteland matters the most. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, this that event was in August. So today was the September pre-modern monthly in Portland here, and I didn't play today because unfortunately I had stuff to do in the afternoon, but I went out there because the vibes are fantastic and I
Mhm.
wanted to spectate and see what people have brought. And there were a couple of spicy decks, spicy brews in the field today. Somebody decided to register red white astral slide,
Mhm.
which was pretty fun to see. The lightning enchantment in play with the, pay one when you cycle something and then
Yeah.
like deal damage. And yeah, I actually talked to them after like seeing that they were playing that, and I was like, "Oh yeah, my friend used to play this deck in extended, and they used to win with Vishano Sandstalker.
Mhm.
Do you remember that card?
Yeah, yeah, it's like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
mini ball
What?
lightning, I guess.
Yeah, but it like returns to your hand
Mhm,
at
yeah.
your end
It's a
step.
4/2.
So yeah, and the player I was talking to was like, "Oh, maybe I should put this in my sideboard for like certain matchups." And I was like, "Cool, yeah." It felt cool to like remember Vishano Sandstalker when I saw that. And then another list I saw was a Greater Good Phyrexian Dreadnought list
Mhm.
and some Sapperling.
Burst.
nonsense. Yeah.
Did
And
it
that
have I'm
that
assuming it
was
had
sick.
pandemonium too, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I need to see the list. I'm sure it's posted by now, but yeah, that deck was sick. And then my buddy my buddy was on Quiet Spec Oath today, and I got to watch him play some games, and he actually ended up main decking a 1-0 Phantom Neshoba in
Mm-hmm.
his list, and he hit it game one against goblins, and it
Oh,
was absolutely disgusting. It
seems pretty
was
good.
like so good. So where preparation meets opportunity, I suppose. They He actually came up with that one with Parker this morning over coffee, apparently.
Ah,
Our friend Parker, our
yeah, yeah.
mutual friend Parker,
I think Phantom Shoba plus what is the one that like deals one damage to each creature that they played as a flashback card?
Oh, volcanic spray.
Volcanic Spray. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
one-two
yeah,
punch
yeah,
against
yeah, yeah.
goblins, right? Like if you put a life
Yeah,
linker in play, that's huge, and you just sweep their board. Like, I mean, goblins
yeah.
can definitely like one ringleader away from like getting back into the game, but it seems pretty tough.
Yeah, and in game two of that match too, he ended up like plowing the first couple of like pretty relevant threats from goblins
Hmm.
and slamming a Terravor that got pretty big pretty quickly, and then just like Cataclysm for the scoop. So it was just disgusting.
Yeah, that deck. Speaking of decks that elves do not want to see.
What, Quiet Spec?
Yes,
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. I don't know.
I look at the deck list and I'm like, how the hell can elves beat this deck?
I haven't really had the opportunity to play against it
Uh
myself
huh.
yet. I've only really played against like the Green White Oath deck
Right.
and things like that, and that matchup feels not all that bad personally,
No,
but maybe that's just me.
I think the volcanic spray like makes things a lot worse.
Yeah, it
Uh,
probably does. It
Speaking of
probably
the
does.
balance of like when to overextend, when not to overextend, that card just like I'm just gonna do it. Uh, and then if you like no, a few turns later, there's a Terravor, and then the next turn there's a Cataclysm, and you're like, yeah, sad face. Uh,
Yeah, but there were definitely multiple goblins players in the room today,
uh-huh,
and that I'm kind of glad that I didn't have to play through any of that because goblins is such a sketchy matchup. Like I just try
uh-huh.
to put Wall of Blossoms and Call of the Herds under me in post combat or post board so that I can get like up to my mana to either Master Core or Deranged Hermit on the top end and like go from there. But yeah, goblins is terrifying because sharpshooter exists and gem palm exists and
War Chief.
everything exists to ruin my life. So
I think the
Mog fanatic.
Mog Fanatic. I was about to say Mog Fanatic into War Chief into like Matron for Sharpshooter is like
Yeah,
not a
it's
good time.
just mm-mm.
No. I agree. Well, okay, so we can. I mean, this is like, I mean, in true Romario's style of podcasting, I'm okay with us just like not have to stick to a topic here because I do love talking about some elves, and I've been tinkering with like a bunch of different versions of elves, right?
Mhm.
And since you've been playing more elves than I have, of course, I actually don't mind like picking your brain and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, so it is. So you do think that's a hard matchup and Sly? How do you feel about Sly?
Uh, I think Sly is also kind of Sly is, as I love to refer to it, a time trial, right? Like you're just hoping to kind of like get to a master core very quickly to hopefully control the board enough to
Hmm.
like avoid damage and then or like you, just trying to kind of put a lot of power into play and win with the tribal force mage very quickly or something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, again, Wall Blossoms and Call of Herd come in, post board and give you a little bit more of a fighting chance on the ground.
Uh-huh.
But it's not a matchup I want to play often. I'd rather
Hmm.
not if I can, but I will do it. And actually, for the August event, I played against Sly in the quarterfinals and I beat it on camera. So that'll be coming out, and you can check that out.
On heavy
But
play, yeah.
yeah, on heavy play. But yeah. So the last couple of times I played Sly, I've made it out alive, but kind of barely. And I'm not like a big fan of playing that matchup, but I will. I think it's still better than like goblins or blue white replenish.
Blue white replenish, is that one that you don't like to play against too?
I don't, yeah, the opalescence, like parallax wave, parallax tide, like
Uh-huh.
deck is, yeah. There's a player in our community that plays a lot of that deck, and he beats me up pretty frequently when we play it. The times I swear I beat him is just like he missteps and just like I find a window that like
Mhm.
worked out, and like I barely get out of it, and it's like I can't always have that happen. And if he's on top of his game constantly, how am I ever going to beat him? It kind
Right.
of feels like so. Yeah, parallax. Yeah, the blue white parallax tribal, as I like to refer to it, is terrifying. So
It is a tribal deck. Yeah, that one. Okay, so first, Sly. I think Sly. I agree with you from the little experience that I have. Um, it kind of depends on what's my sideboard like, because I have played um lists that run the elephants in the sideboard, the Call of the Herd, right?
right,
Sometimes I don't, and the Call of the Herds definitely help. The times I didn't play that, and it definitely felt harder to beat them. And I mean, yeah, Masticore is probably the card you want to see like as fast as possible.
hmm
Even if you only have like two, I'm sorry, like just like 4 mana in play, like you don't have to have like a army of elves and a Gaia's Cradle. Just like having 4 mana, I think is just huge, right? Uh,
right,
Even like little things like no pinging, uh, a ball lightning or something like that,
right. It's huge.
or just killing of course, a lava monster because one of the worst feelings when you play elves against Sly, if you see a turn one fetch lava monster, you're like, ha, okay, like my hand just got a whole lot worse now, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm being, but it's hard for you to fight through a lava monster. Uh, Sometimes
Yeah,
you can power through it. Like if you just go creature, eventually they might run out of steam. But like no, it's kind of a tall order to hope that the mono red deck that plays a stack of like burn spells is going to run out of like burn spells, right? And then if they have a creature that can just recycle all the burn spells and the fetch lands into more burn, it's kind of tough until no, you of course if you find a Masticore. But the replenish deck also again depends on the 75 that I'm running. If I have any kind of like graveyard hate, I feel so much better about the matchup. Because I think because usually I have like 5 or 6 enchantment removals in my decks.
hmm
Combine the main deck with a sideboard. I think that we're talking a little bit before we started recording, but the list that I was playing with, Phantom and Tuco, I think that one I had a total of like I had one Vigilante in the main deck, like the stock Vigilante, and then I had 4 copies of a Naturalizing sideboard, and then 2 more copies of 2 more Nantuko Vigilante. I kind of used to joke that deck was like Nantuko tribal because no, total had like 6 Nantuko creatures, right?
hmm
Uh that one I think I had 1 copy of no, I'm sorry, I had a couple of copies of uh I'm sorry, well, this is one I didn't have, but usually I have a couple of copies of Tormod's Crypt.
hmm
Uh I think if I'm playing with that, like no, the enchantment removal plus the graveyard hate, I think it's a lot more beatable. But if I just have one or the other, then it's kind of hard. Especially now that some replenish lists are running Swords of Plowshares and stuff, then it just gets a little more complicated, right? Uh,
right.
because the Parallax Tide, usually I'm okay with that one. Like they'll take your guy's cradle, whatever. That kind of sucks, but I mean you're playing elves, right?
Yeah,
You could just make mana. You have Korean Rangers that can bounce back and forth or whatever. So it's like, uh, and then the removal spell is really to aim at the opalescence, right? But usually they enter into play together with the parallax wave, right? So it's like that's when you try
it's
to
like
stop.
nearly impossible to interact with. Yeah,
Yeah, so you have to nuke their graveyard, right? So that's that circle back to the point I was saying. Like if I have something to exile the graveyard, I feel like okay about the matchup. Is not great, of course. And like you said,
Yeah, I
they
have a couple
are.
crypt in my sideboard just to respect it, you know?
Mhm. And because I think also pre-modern in general, like I think more and more decks are somehow interacting their graveyards, right? That's um, I feel like I don't know, maybe 3 years ago when I first got into pre-modern, there were you could neglect the graveyard and it'll be fine. Like, we'll play a lot of against decks like Dreadnought and White Weenie decks. Like, they didn't really care about their graveyards. But I think as we progress now, or maybe just how the format's natural what you call evolution, I guess. There are more decks that care about the graveyard, right? Like, Enchantress has replenish, like the actual replenish deck has replenish. Elves, we just mentioned two cards in this short conversation, like, right? We had
Yeah,
Genesis and Squee,
sweet, and
uh,
angry.
and Anger. So
Yeah, and there are other decks like Reanimators cropping up,
mhm,
and there's also Quiet Spec Oath. You know,
right,
we talked about that earlier. Cares about their graveyard.
yeah. And sometimes you
Yeah,
can kill a Terravore by just nuking their graveyard.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're just like putting a Terravore back to baby mode. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. If you
baby
if
Terravore.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, so that's my 2 cents on that matchup. Okay, so I do think that the replenish matchup is it's not easy, but I think out of the 3 that we talked about here, I think it's, I think it's the one I feel more comfortable. Also, like replenish, they have to kinda get lucky with the attunements and,
Yeah.
um, Frantic Search. And I have some people, like, have been shaving some of those cards too from their decks too, like, which I think is crazy, but, they no, they do that, uh and obviously, you see someone playing black in pre-modern, you know what's coming post-board. There's always a plague engineer.
Do I? Do I?
I don't know.
Plague Engineer? Who is that? I don't know Plague Engineer. I know Engineered Plague. Is that what you were talking about?
Yes. We're talking
Yeah,
about
that's the
pre-modern,
one.
right? That doesn't exist in
Yeah, yeah.
pre-modern.
You
Yeah.
said Plague Engineer.
Did I say that?
That's the guy. That's the
Jeez.
Modern Horizons fella.
That's true.
Uh no, actually, the card I don't care about Engineered Plague.
You don't
I
care about
don't.
engineer plague?
No, I don't care. You can
But
name an
on the art,
elf.
there's an elf there, right? Is it an
Yeah.
elf? It's
Okay.
an elf, a
Look.
goblin, and a dragon, so you should care about it.
Look, Engineered Plague is fine. It's all right. The card
Okay.
I care about from Black is Perish. That's the card I care about.
Perish.
That one sucks. That one makes me sad. So sad.
Perish makes me sad because it's not because the card is good against elves, it's just because I don't expect it.
There's an ancient YouTube video of me just ripping up Perish, and that's it. That's the whole video. It's just me like holding a Perish up to the camera
Mhm.
for people to see and just
Just ripping
going
it?
down, just ripping it.
Hmm,
Goodbye. Goodbye, Perish. Get it out
okay.
of here. You go rest in peace with hibernation. Go, go.
What about Dystopia?
Eh,
That one's too slow?
it's just too slow.
Okay.
I have 4 natural eyes.
Alright. Okay, cool. No, but, Perish I know it's very good against elves, but I think it's more because I don't expect it's never on my radar.
Yeah,
Uh,
but people register it.
yeah, they do.
People play that card.
I
It's good.
mean, you know what happens when you do well with a deck in a somewhat small meta? People
No,
start turning the decks against you. So, yes, I can see people in Portland registering, Perish in a sideboard.
they
I'm just
shouldn't.
saying. You start doing well with Pharex and Dreadnought, and you're gonna start seeing crumble in people's sideboard and shattered and detonate, whatever janky destroy
I'm
artifact
never
cards.
playing Dreadnought. You can't make me play Dreadnought. The only
Well,
first thing I want to play is Devourer if I'm gonna do that.
is that a whatchamacallit, a layup for me?
Maybe, maybe.
All
I
right.
don't know if you wanted to move on to that.
I mean,
I
we
don't know
can.
if you have
I mean,
other
yes, we're
questions
talking a lot about elves. Just
or
one little
yeah,
thing
other
before
things to elves.
I was gonna say before little thing I was gonna say before we move on, but I remember when I first got into pre-model, like I was playing on Magic Online. I mean, on the webcams, and I used to listen to. I think there was only one pre-modern podcast. I think it was a pre-modcast, and I think that's when we first started having like paper events again. And I'm gonna feel terrible now because I can't remember his name, but I interacted a little bit with him. There's a Spanish player that he was winning a lot with elves in paper. I think he won the Spanish nationals, and then he
Was that
traveled.
Pablo Suarez?
Yes,
Yeah,
I think so.
Paul. I've definitely exchanged messages with him about
Okay.
the deck. So
And I remember I
yeah.
think he went to another, I don't know, he went to another country like to play the nationals there. And he won there too, uh and then they had another event in Europe that he was on camera playing against Martin Berlin, I think,
Mhm.
the godfather of Premodern, and he won on camera too. And he's got a beautiful Elves X all foil, and
Yeah.
uh and I remember like at that time like people were like asking for cards in Elves to be banned because like they were like no, Elves just too powerful. And uh, but of course, it's crazy because Premodern is a contained format where there's no new cards coming in unless they get unbanned.
Yeah.
And somehow over time, Elvis stopped being the best deck in the format. Other things became better, and then we just stopped talking about like no banning Survival of the Fittest because people at one point were like, "Oh, Survival should get banned," right? Uh, and I think Pablo was like one of the reasons why people were saying that because he was winning a lot
Is
with the deck. Yeah. Um,
yeah.
but Yeah, so I want to talk about the Blue Red Devour deck that so I just finished the league, the online league, and I think it's where it's if you say bi-weekly, does it mean 2 weeks? Or should I say every other
No,
week?
biweekly is every 2 weeks,
Every 2 weeks? Either way,
or is it 2 times a week?
because actually on Gatherling it says like monthly, but it's not monthly.
It,
It's every 2 weeks, right? It's like the
it's
first.
half month.
Yeah, and it's a weird thing because I think it starts from the first week of the month until the second. I actually don't know. I usually just go on Gathering, and I know the league resets on Mondays, and I think resets. We're recording on Sunday today, so I think it resets tomorrow. Uh, so the last league we played, I I went 5-1 playing Blue Red Devour, and uh, I was surprised that the deck hasn't even seen more play, in my opinion. So the last LobsterCon, the last pre-modern LobsterCon, not the old school one that just happened. I was actually trying to make it there. I'm in Virginia. LobsterCon is in Massachusetts. Surprisingly, it's very expensive for me to get from here to Boston. They usually have some kind of event happening there, like at the same time LobsterCon is happening. But I was planning, if I did go to LobsterCon, I was gonna play some kind of Tinker Fling deck or Blue Red Devour, however you want to call it. Uh, and the deck was doing really well. Like the few people that are playing, I noticed that people were doing well with the deck. And then it had two players play top eight at LobsterCon. Two different lists. One of them had I think one person had like Scroll Rex and Mind Stones, and the other one had also Druids in their list. Yeah, they had also Druids to, I guess, to find a Devour. Um, and Kurt, I don't know how often you like browse for pre-modern lists, but I do like very often. Uh, because like Legacy nowadays, I feel like every time I open MTG Goldfish or MTG Top 8, I just like see the same deck list over and over again. So I kind of like I do still look at Legacy lists, but not as often because I feel like everything is kind of the same. For pre-modern, it's not that much different, but you still find like here and there you find some different lists. And one thing I noticed, in we know from other formats that like Japan usually is known for coming up like no different 75s, right? That we're used to see, not just for legacy or modern or and but from my understanding, in Japan they were much more into like playing middle school instead of playing pre-modern. But I started noticing that there were like more and more events happening in Japan that were pre-modern events. And one thing that I noticed there was Tinker Fling was doing pretty well there. So I was like, well, maybe there's something here. Maybe they're just playing like different 75s. And when I found out was like they the few players that I looked at their lists, they kind of cut all the fluff. So they're basically like, all right, it's a combo deck. It's an AB combo. I'm just gonna play the combo pieces. I'm playing Devour, Flings, Tinkers, and a couple of cards that can find the combo, right?
Mm.
Um, and then they play Tingle Wire to for you to buy time for you to put your combo together, right? The deck plays a bunch of artifacts, so you usually have permanents in play to tap it. Hopefully your opponent doesn't, and then by the time they can do something, you can combo them, right? Uh, and so I was like, all right, well let me try this list again for the league, and for my surprise, I went 5-1. I recorded the league, and it's in my channel. Um, Deck felt super strong. The only loss that I took, it was a calculated risk. I got paired against Stasis, and you can actually, I think I mentioned that on the video while I was recording. I had the combo. I think they only had one card in hand. I might have one or two defense grids in play, and I had the option to go for the Alter Dementia Devour and run into a Gaia's Blessing, or I could wait a little bit until I find Fling and try to win that way, right?
Mhm.
Spoiler alert, I decided to go for the Alter Dementia, and they had Gaia's Blessing. So that didn't work out. But that was my only loss that I took in the league. And one of the things I was gonna say about Tinker Fling, and it's a whole different experience than Elves, because I don't think that can lose to a different deck. It loses to cards specifically. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Like, you're mentioning when you're playing Elves, you don't wanna play against certain decks, right?
Yeah.
And I think this deck's not the case. You don't wanna play against certain cards.
I don't know, like, I feel like one of the first decks that I feel like you wouldn't wanna play against this deck is
Mhm,
Dreadnought. That's my first impression, is, like, Stifle just is very good against this deck,
mhm.
minus, like, unless you, like, specifically have Defense Grid down, right?
Well, so this list is running 4 defense grids.
Yes, I see that. I
And
see
in the
that's very
sideboard,
good.
you have a pile of, like, Pyroblast. You have,
Yeah,
so
you
this
have,
ver
like, 5 blasts.
yes, yes, yes.
So
So
you're ready for Stifle, which is good.
right, so like I said, I don't think this deck's like, I was thinking about that, like, after I finished the league, I was like, there's no, when I was playing the Elves leagues or any other deck, I'm like, "Oh, I hope I don't play against X deck," right? And with this deck, I was like, "Well, I don't really care what deck I'm playing against. I'm more worried about, like, specific cards that they can have." So,
Right,
like,
yeah,
usually game ones, I'm like, "Yeah, this is fine," because like, they don't, because the deck is kinda like a, what would the term I would like to say, like, 2 ships passing in the night. I don't really care too much what's happening on the other side of the board. I'm just trying to put my combo together over here.
yeah,
Uh, and then post board, like, okay, well, they can have, like, Cursed Totem, which is, no, a card that, like, no, some people might have 1 or 2 in their sideboards. Uh, I don't know, like, No Rod, I guess, like, that's another one that's kind of a pain in the ass too. So, but there's no specific deck that I'm like, "Oh, I really don't wanna play against this one deck." Like, it's more like, I hope they don't not running XYZ cards. I don't know if that
so
makes sense.
yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. And I was looking at your list today and actually showing a few different players because they were kind of interested in what this was. And yeah, I don't know how to quite make this apparent for, like, our audience or whatever, like what exactly the list is. I'm kind
Mhm,
of looking at it, I'm referencing it, but one thing that seemed like one question I got at first, and then we talked it out a little bit, was like, why isn't this list running Goblin Welder? It feels like
mhm,
Goblin Welder would be right at home in this kind of deck. And I was, talking about it, it's like, okay, well, Goblin Welder would one would enable a removal, which is usually pretty blank against your deck. Like if you're tinkering for Devourer, you're probably going to win,
mhm.
and you can just stack the triggers on top of the removal spell, right?
Right, yeah.
So you're blanking removal. Um, Also, one thing that I was looking at, the mana base, is that like your red sources are kind of light. Like you do have like Sheeving Reef and City of Brass in the mana base, but Gemstone Mine is temporary, Lotus Petal is temporary, so
Mhm.
you don't always have the red mana to activate Welder. But yeah, no, Welder did seem like it would be kind of cool in this deck.
Yeah,
It's just, it feels like it would need a little bit of a rework. And then again, you're enabling removal that was otherwise disabled
a
in this
blank, yeah.
list. So yeah.
Yeah, the very first list that I put together for to play in paper, it was a mud list that had Goblin Welders, but then that's a different deck, right? Like, you're playing Tingle Wires and Triskelions and Tinkers, and it becomes more like a, you're not a combo deck, like, well, you are, but you go a little longer, right? Like, no, you're planning on going longer. And this deck is not planning on going very long. You're trying to win ASAP, right?
Yeah.
That's where the Gems on Mind actually works in this deck, because you're not really planning on tapping more than twice. Like, if you are, you you're probably not going to win the game anyway. Something went wrong, right?
Something is horribly wrong.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I think someone else also messaged me on Discord. One of the one of the people that like watches my channel. They actually messaged me on Discord to ask me about Goblin Welder, and I think I said the same thing. Goblin Welder will kind of fall under the fluff part that I said. Like, no, you don't really need all that. You're just trying to put a B combo together. Um, and uh, and like it's a good point you just mentioned too. Like this deck is really good at ignoring any kind of interaction from the other side of the board, right? Because removal doesn't work. Um, like there's really no time for your opponents to interact with the combo. The Usually the only way there's some kind of way, some counterplay is if they have guys blessing their main deck, and you try to go for the alter dimension part of the combo. But other than that, like no, it's not. If you put the combo together, and if they don't respond on the stack, it's just gonna happen, right?
Right,
Um,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah. But the mana base is a little. It worked in the league that I played, but I can see being a little shaky. One of the other cards people suggest was like Croesus, the Catacombs, the lair land that like bounces back and it produces blue red mana. Uh, that one is interesting. It maybe it could work in there too, but I don't think it's necessary though. Um, because I did notice that sometimes the life total was relevant, tapping Ancient Tombs and City of Brasses. That was one of the games that I played on the that I recorded that I think I ended up top decking the second part of the combo when I was at 2 life and I couldn't tap my Ancient Tomb. Or I'm sorry, I was at 3 life, but the lands that I had in play was Ancient Tomb and City of Brass, and I couldn't lose the 3 life and still win the game. So yeah, maybe the Croesus Catacomb is one thing that maybe could be added to the deck. But other than that, like I was pretty happy with the list, and no, it's in my Mox field. Like if you look up my name, or also it's actually will be in this channel too that we're recording. So
Okay.
yeah, so they can also look up like the list there, and so I yeah, pretty happy about it. If so, Eternal Weekend is coming up.
Sure.
I am gonna try to play some Premodern the days that I'm not playing Legacy, and I'll probably have this deck in my backpack with me. So uh,
Yeah,
that's
catch for Mario Eternal Weekend to play some Premodern. I
oh,
will not be there this year, sadly.
sadly.
Yeah, a lot of people are really mad about it, apparently. So,
I mean, I'm not
it's,
mad. I'm just sad because we're not gonna be
uh,
sharing some slushes at LobbyCon, but
I
but
know the slushies.
I know.
Uh,
So there is a I think it's a team trio event on Friday that's like old school Legacy and Premodern,
mhm,
and I'll definitely be trying to play some Premodern in the Premodern seats. I'm gonna get enough Legacy on Saturday, so it's like,
yeah.
and I don't get to, unlike you, I don't have the chance to play as much Premodern paper, uh,
Fair
so
enough.
I'm gonna try to do that. But yeah, so
Yeah.
current moving forward, uh, any changes to your list, or you're gonna keep
I'm gonna put Wasteland back in. That's for damn sure.
mhm,
I'm not gonna lose to that again. But no, I don't think there's gonna be pretty major changes to my list coming up this next time. I think I'm still gonna be on a sideboard of like 4 Call of the Herd, 3 Wall of Blossoms, 2 Tormod's Crypt, 4 Naturalize, 1 Tranquil Domain, and uh is that all of it? That may have been all of it.
mhm.
That may have been all of it. So yeah, it's gonna be yeah, I think it's gonna be sick. I still love the 2 Master Core Tutor Range Hermit main as far as like anger survival goes, just because like they're your best threats and you want a second copy of each of them in case the first one goes awry for whatever reason it feels like, and then you just kind of like are able to modally board out master cores and matchups that don't matter, and
Mhm.
you know, stuff like that. So but I'm gonna continue to just keep putting the elf pressure down out here, I think. I am tempted to get into like the Devourer deck though, like randomly
Hmm.
for a monthly, just show up and completely 180 people, and like as they're preparing their parishes, I'm like, Tink, got you, you're dead. So I'm also getting some updates on what happened at the monthly today. It looks like the semifinals were Landstill versus Enchantress
Hmm.
and Goblins versus Goblins. So
I take
we'll
lands over
see.
Enchantress. Land's still there.
You take Landstill over Enchantress,
No,
you
no,
think?
Enchantress over Land still.
Oh, Enchantress over Landstill.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, well, I picked Goblins in the Goblins versus Goblins matchup. So
I
what do
think
you think wins the
lackeys are
whole
gonna win
thing
this
then?
one.
So let's say Enchantress wins and Goblins versus Enchantress is finals. How do you think that cookie crumbles?
Goblins versus Enchantress.
Yes.
I think game one, it's easily Enchantress wins.
Yeah.
Games, post board games or a game, I think things get a little more complicated. Depends on the Goblins list, right? I think most
Right.
Goblins lists is splash for green.
Yeah, to for the naturalize. Yeah, I
Hmm.
know that one of the players in top four is definitely doing that. I think both of them are
Okay.
actually. They're just both running naturalizes. So yeah, we'll see how that cookie crumbles pretty shortly, maybe. I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, somebody literally just asked how did it end? And I'm still waiting on responses. So
Right.
we'll see.
Cool. Um, just one last question.
Yes.
Thornscape Battle Mage, yay or nay?
Nay.
Okay.
I don't want it. I
All
don't
right.
want it.
Okay. And okay, I lied. Two questions.
Okay.
Uh, how many uh hermits?
Two. Two
Two.
hermit.
Okay. All right. There was one time I played three and too many.
I think three is a little overkill, unfortunately. But
Okay.
two is is sweet spot, it feels
Okay.
like.
I like making squirrels, but I think two is a sweet spot. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. But no
And
Thornscape
don't
Mage.
cut Yavimaya Granger. I tried that once and then I regretted it. Yavimaya Granger does smooth things out, unfortunately.
I agree. Every time I side out, I'm like, shouldn't.
Shouldn't.
No, not even setting them
You
out.
could have
Keep
gotten
keep
me
them in
that
your deck.
mountain I needed. I
Yeah,
needed
keep them in
that.
your deck. Yeah. All right. Cool. Current, I don't know, do you want to talk about anything else besides how
I'm trying to think about other pre-modern things. Do.
are you planning on playing on the League Online again?
I am going to try. I don't know if I have the it's so hard to like do everything like the
Mm-hmm.
gathering and the nonsense and make sure I'm tuned in what I need to be for if I make like the top 16 cut. I'd like to though, just because again, I feel like if we're going to be doing this podcast, I'd like to be a little bit more plugged into what's going on a week by week basis so
Mm-hmm.
that, I feel a little more informed. So I'll probably end up doing it and I'll probably end up like looking at lists more often. I think we're planning on recording every couple of weeks or so.
Yeah,
Is
every
that
two
what we
weeks,
had
yeah.
talked
Or
about?
twice a month, yeah.
Yeah. So definitely expect us like 2 times a month, 1 to 2 times a month kind of deal. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I think for today, this first hour is definitely a good introductory kind of
Mm-hmm.
episode to what we're about here at Call of the Herd.
Call the herd.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really have a lot of socials at the moment. I do have Blue Sky. You can find me like Testacular on a lot of things. That's my MTGO handle. That's my social media handle. You can find me on Discord. Testacular, like you don't even need the number. I just own it.
Just own
So
it.
yeah, that's spelled Testacular in case you needed that. So uh
One of the greatest MTGO handles that
oh
somehow
thanks.
Wizards allows you to keep it.
Hey, okay, look, it's because I think playtesting is spectacular. Testacular. Come on, come
There was
on.
a player that years ago, and I didn't research this too deep, but apparently their handle was like, I have a big deck.
Oh, okay.
And they did
Well,
not let him, or I don't
They
know if you
didn't
see
let
them. They didn't let
they
the
let them
player.
keep it.
No, no.
Yeah.
So I was like, uh,
Yeah, I've gotten away with a lot, and, I actually did apply for, like, the Moto Creator Program when it was first coming out, and I
uh,
had to, like I definitely wrote them, and I was like, "Listen, if my name is a point of contention, I'm happy to
to
change."
change to something else. that's that's
Um
that's cool. They took the proactive
Oh,
approach.
hold on, I just got the results, from the, Premodern event. We just talked about it, right? So,
Okay,
the finals was Goblins versus
Enchantress.
Enchantress. Yep, you
Ah,
were
so I was
right.
right about
And,
some stuff.
and the finals did happen. Um,
The Goblins wins 2-1.
nope, Enchantress wins.
Oh, cool,
Yeah, took it down.
sweet.
Piloted by a friend I went to high school with, actually, Thomas.
Hmm.
He's been playing at these events, and he's been, you know, doing better and better as he's been coming out, and this is his first win. So
Sweet.
congratulations to Thomas on taking down this Portland Pre-Modern monthly event.
All right, I'll be excited to watch it on the heavy play when it comes out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
I think Andrew just released the first round of top 8 of July on his channel, so it kind of is like it's kind of set to trickle out,
right.
unfortunately. So it'll
Hmm.
come out much later.
Right, right. Cool. No, I'll
Yep,
definitely I'll watch it whenever it comes out.
cool.
Yeah. So for me, I mean, I should have all my links below the video. And if you're listening, so just Romario Vidal everywhere that's relevant. And Romario Neto on Twitter. And in case you don't know, I also post all my deck lists on Moxfield. It was something that I wasn't doing before, but I become like more diligently posting all my deck lists there. And if I'm brewing something, I'll probably post there too, which I do a lot for Premodern actually. Not so much for Legacy these days because it's more hyper tuned, but Premodern still has a lot of room for brewing innovation. So yeah, you can find me there too, and hit the follow button, and you can see all my stuff. And with that, we'll end this episode, and we'll catch you guys in about 2 weeks.
Yep. See you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in.